Did you check last time to see if you could hear it? I didn't even check.
I did. I heard it.
Okay.
It was on the mic. Hey, how are you? Special Tuesday night, Tokum Tuesday, Tip 'em Back Tuesday, here in a spring-like set, dare I say.
Textile Tuesday.
Textile Tuesday, there you go. That is what the hell is that thing? Things are popping up everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. That is the redoubtable one, Tom Izzo, the highly questionable one, RJ Miliaccio. Welcome to IDD, for those of you in the know. I don't disagree. For those of you who just raised the Titanic, we are here. Segment 1, NFL offseason. Today is the first day of the tag 'em if you do and tag 'em if you don't.
Last day, March 7th?
I think so. And they have 2 tags, which you probably, did you get read the riot act on this day like I did?
The two different Danny Jones,
the
2 tags?
2 different tags. You just for everybody, like the exclusive and the non-exclusive, all this shit.
Dude, the non-exclusive tag is an intriguing tag.
It is an intriguing tag. But the problem with that one is you will lose the guy.
But 2 number 1s.
But if that guy is Lamar Jackson, I news you, man. Danny Dimes is good. He's not Lamar Jackson. I get that one. I could live with.
But my thing is,
if you lose Lamar Jackson,
dude. But my thing is, you either think he's worth the money or you don't. If you don't think he's worth the money, put that tag on him. Because then if he goes, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, it's like there aren't quarterbacks out there to get. You've got guys. Right. You've got Carr, and you've got Jimmy G, and you've got the Aaron Rodgers. I can't say that with a straight face. Why would anyone go after that nut job? But anyway, is he even out of the forest yet? Is he out of that? Is he back from that?
I don't know.
Has he found the light?
Dark retreat.
Has he found the light?
I don't know.
Has the light seen him, or has he seen the light?
Know.
Whatever. I mean,
it was Groundhog's Day. It wasn't Rodgers' Day. So, I don't know if he came out and saw a shadow or what.
Is it me, or does every day goes by, his stock goes down half a point? Every day. Because now even the people that were bowing to him on ESPN, they're now making fun of him. Even they're like, this is fucking ridiculous.
They're just dropping little
they can't even
retreats.
Because they can't even defend him anymore. And they know it. They're like, this is...
Dude, listen, sometimes you just got to get away.
There were people...
And be in the dark.
There were... Fine, but don't fucking paint this picture of how you're going to meet Jesus and all this crap. And
Did he say Jesus?
I don't know what he said, but he's so off his rocker, I don't know what he is. But the bottom line is this. The Jets today, they were talking about, because David Carr, as you know, went into there over the weekend. He met with the Jets brass.
They wined and dined him.
They wined and dined him, as they should have. And
everybody's getting high on David Carr right now.
Well, listen, he's a good quarterback, and he's young. He is a lot younger than Aaron Rodgers.
I'd rather have Rodgers and Carr right now.
I wouldn't, because I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And by the way, to give up what they'd have to give up for him.
Well, they have to
David Carr, you don't got to give up nothing. Remember, he is still all the rights. You have to trade with Green Bay.
What do they have to?
Probably 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s. You don't think so?
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
No way.
4-time MVP?
40.
He's 38, not 40.
Okay, what's he going to be next year? 39?
39.
He's playing like it.
I didn't say it, folks. He did.
I don't think.
I didn't say it this time. He did.
But you agree with me?
Of course I do. 100%. But this time it was you. The best.
No, I mean, I still think. I would take him over Carr.
I would.
Not for the long term.
Well, that's
but
the thing.
I think the one.
Are you willing to give up your mortgage, your future for 1 year?
No.
That's the point.
I don't think you have to mortgage your future. They want to get rid of him.
Yeah, but they're not.
I don't think it's
they're
2
not
number
going
ones.
I guarantee you, it's 2 number 1s.
2 and a 3.
No, it's 2 number 1s.
No way.
At least
no
for
way.
Aaron Rodgers.
No,
they're going to give him a 1 this year. Their pick this year. No, actually, that won't be enough because that's just swapping picks. They're going to be like, actually, no, because they'll keep their own pick. Green Bay will. They'll give them this pick and next pick next year. 2 number 1s. That's what they'll do, and then maybe we have to throw in it too.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't either, but I'm telling you right now, that is what Green Bay is going to ask for.
Okay, so
I'm telling you right now. And somebody will give it to them, by the way.
Let me say this.
Somebody will.
I think they should go with Aaron Rodgers. The Jets should.
Okay, why?
But only if it doesn't mortgage their future.
Let me ask you a question.
So I think a 2 and a 3.
Let me ask you a question.
Maybe 2 2s. He's not worth 2 1s. He's not going to last that long.
This is but that's what they're going to ask for.
Well, you say no to that.
Somebody will say yes.
But if the price is
it
right,
doesn't have to
I
be
like
the
him
Jets.
better than. If the price is right, I like him better
the
than
same
Carr.
risks still apply.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. He might retire in 1 year. And by the way, let's be honest
But
here.
as long as you don't mortgage, if you give up,
let's be honest here.
If you give up honest value,
David
it's okay
Carr
if he
is
retires.
in or entering his prime. Aaron Rodgers is past his prime. And nobody's going to tell me right now that Aaron Rodgers is better than Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, or Josh Allen.
No, but he's better than David Carr.
That doesn't get it done.
Why not?
He's not going to win the Super Bowl. He's not going to get out of the AFC. I'll tell you why David Carr gives you a better chance.
You think David Carr gets you out of the AFC?
I think David Carr is ascending still as a player, and Aaron Rodgers is descending.
Okay.
Again,
That's
his
not a bad
peak is not going to be as high as Aaron Rodgers, but it doesn't have to be because this team is loaded.
Yeah. And his
You know,
peak,
let me ask you this.
You're saying
They
his
were
peak
almost-
could
they-
be higher than where Rodgers is right now.
Descending.
Not higher than
No, he won't
Rodgers.
reach his apex. No, it won't do that.
No.
But here's
I mean,
the
that's a fair
thing.
point.
Here's the thing. You don't need Aaron Rodgers to win the Super Bowl. You need a guy who's significantly better than what you had.
Yeah.
And David Carr is significantly better than what they had. It doesn't have to be
without
Aaron
a
Rodgers.
doubt.
And you don't have to give up anything to get him. That's my point.
Yeah.
And by the way,
And what's he worth?
He's a free agent. You just sign him. You don't got to trade away assets to get him.
What's he worth?
I'd say he's worth, what is he, 29? I'd say he's worth a 5-year deal. At 29. Play like he's 34.
$35 million a year or what? 40? I mean, he should be asking for as much as Daniel Jones, right?
Well, it depends on. Look, there's going to be a market for David Carr. So if it gets into a bidding war, then you're the Jets. You pay because you're going to get at least 5 good years out of him. Look, and if the Jets, here's the other thing: the one glaring hole in the Jets is the offensive line. You keep those picks, you can build that line around him. You got the skill position players set, the defense is set.
Yeah.
You just got to build the line, and you can do this. This is the way you can do this, and be contending next year. Aaron Rodgers can't go behind that line. And if you take Aaron Rodgers, you'll have no draft picks to put or build that line around him. That's the other thing. So to me, it's David Carr. And you know what?
Yeah, you make a good argument.
Somebody said this today.
make a good argument.
Somebody said this today, and they didn't say what I said, but they said, look, you don't let that guy leave the building because all it takes is one other suitor. Say he goes to Carolina and he never comes back because he signs.
I think wasn't Tannenbaum saying that on ESPN?
Yeah, it was Tannenbaum, I think. Somebody was saying that. And you're saying you don't let him walk out without a contract.
Dude, you
They're waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
You definitely made that point, and I think that sounds like the most practical right decision. There's still part of me that would be interested to see what.
If this was Aaron
would do.
Rodgers 2 years ago,
yeah, I mean,
I'd say maybe then.
Because I don't even think it's a question.
No, but I'm saying right now because he's not peaking, he's declining, and he still. I'm not saying Aaron can't play. He can play. It's not that. It's what you have to give up to get him, and we don't know how much longer he's gonna play. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for 1 year. I'm not doing that. No way.
No,
if he was gonna guarantee me 4 years, I'd do it. But Aaron Rodgers is not going to guarantee.
But that's what I'm saying. A second and a third, I would consider it.
Maybe
anything more than that,
okay, but,
I say
but
no.
you and I both know Green Bay ain't going to ask for a second, a third for him.
They want him out. They don't want him there.
Somebody needs him as bad as they want him gone.
It's
Green
mutual.
Green Bay is not going to give him up for a second and a third round pick.
I think that's bullshit if it doesn't happen.
Somebody's going to pay at least 1, possibly 2. Because they're going to ask for 2. I'll tell you right now.
Well, you think the Raiders would? I feel like the Raiders would do something stupid.
The Raiders have everything else. They're at least on offense. Their defense is suspect. That's the other
Is
thing.
that O-line good, the Raiders? I guess they
Yeah, they have a great running game, and they have a great.
But they lost Josh Jacobs.
Did he leave?
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
I mean, I know he's a free agent. I don't think. I guess they could.
Who
still
did somebody
tag
sign him?
They could. Well, they could tag.
They
him.
could
I don't
franchise
know.
him.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be a bad idea because that kid's a stud. But anyway, which brings us. So look, that thing. I think the Jets are making.
Devontae wants him out there.
Yeah, I think the Jets are making a monumental mistake here. But they're the Jets, and this is what
But you don't know that the Jets aren't signing David.
It's not. What happens if the Jets lose out on both of them?
Or is it Derek? Is it Derek or David?
It's
Derek.
It's Derek.
David was his brother.
David was the brother, right? Yeah. But anyway, the bottom line is, what if the Jets lose out on both of them because he signs Carr with another suitor because they don't wait, they want him right now, and they don't let him leave the building, which was the smart
And
thing.
then they can't.
And they
sign
can't get
Rodgers.
Rodgers, or he decides I want to stay in Green Bay. Okay, whatever he does, because who the fuck knows what he's going to do?
Yeah, you can't rely on his decision.
Yeah, nobody knows what Aaron. Here's the one thing we all know: nobody knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Okay. So whatever that stuff he's smoking down in South America, whatever it is, will bring clarity or bring the light.
Is he hitting peyote?
Maybe. I Peyote's
dark retreat?
Peyote has been known to do these things.
Well, you always
it has a rep.
Yeah, you always see it in the movies doing crazy shit to people.
Was it Zoolander? Yeah, we were smoking peyote and bathing with spider monkeys
I
off
was never
the.
into Zoolander.
Oh, Zoolander is hysterical.
That was one that just didn't.
Dude, Mugatu alone.
I don't know anything.
That's
about
Will Ferrell. Right there, you should watch it. Will Ferrell. He's amazing. You know, I get all farty and bloated with a foamy latte. He just screams at his
You
assistant.
can't quote a movie I haven't seen.
Oh my god!
You know that.
That's not even the 10th funniest scene. Well, you got to see it.
I feel like I watched it and I wasn't really feeling it.
You got to see it again. You got to see it. You got to see it stoned. You will piss yourself.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
You really do. That's a great stoned movie. I'm just telling you. It's funny when you're not stoned. When you're stoned, you're in pain. Like you have to stop it because you can't. You have to stop the movie because you can't catch your breath fast enough.
That's exactly what I need.
Which is like Dumb and Dumber when you're smoking, because that's what happens when I watch Dumb and Dumber, and I'm like, I have to stop it because I can't catch my breath from laughing, and I have to wait. It's like time out. It's like that. So, but anyway, so which leads us to the Giants, who have not one but two conundrums, in Danny Dimes and your boy there Saquon. So Danny Dimes is, as you've probably heard, I know you've heard it, has agent up. He fired his old agent, got the new one with athletics.
Well, I was talking to you about this a few days ago.
You were.
When the rumors were rustling.
What?
And I told you, what? I said they're starting to talk about.
He said that?
Daniel Jones.
Wait a minute, I got a rumor.
Asking for more money.
Yeah.
And the Vapors. They caught the Vapors.
The Vapors.
And you were like, no, he's not worth that. And I was like, yeah, he's probably worth 26 a year. And you were like, yeah, maybe 27,
I
28.
said 26, yeah, somewhere in there.
Now the bottom of him is 35.
The bottom.
And the top, what they say he could be going
30.
for is 40 to 45 million. How? He had a good year. He was solid this year.
35?
My God, dude. You can't take up that much of the payroll.
Who's going to pay him 35?
That's what they're saying.
Well, here's what the Giants will do.
I mean, give the guy $100 million over a few years.
No, what they'll do is
maybe?
they'll franchise him.
Why not $100
because
million
they'll
for
say,
3 years?
Because you know what? Here's the thing. If he's going to ask for 35, I need to see another year before I agree to that. So franchise him for 1 year and see what he does. That's what I would do.
Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that.
What?
It's $32 million of the cap gone, and they got holes to fill all over that roster.
You still have draft picks. You still can look. Drafting a number one in the first round is, no matter where you are, the one thing that draft classes are deep with is receiving talent. I've never seen a year where they haven't been. Okay, you can find a number one receiver in the first round.
You can also miss on one,
like Bill Belichick.
Like many GMs.
I mean, he didn't just miss. He Charlie Brown missed. I mean, when you think about how bad this so-called genius,
he had to put his clothes
back on.
A savant.
I literally, like, it was one of those. Where I tell you, you still have to watch that when you're high because you will. That's another one. You'll be fucking crying, laughing. You're a baseball guy. You'll love that. But anyway, Belichick missed so bad with N'Keal Harry when he could have had DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown. Remember him in the Super Bowl? And there was a third one who was filthy too. I can't remember his name. But he's out there somewhere tearing a new asshole in defenses weekly. And we got N'Keal fucking Harry, who he was the first round pick. We got a 7th back for him. And that's called a mercy killing. That's like, oh, I'll give you the 7th. You're not going to draft Julian Edelman twice.
I mean, the Giants didn't get much out of Kadarius Toney.
No, but the Chiefs sure did.
Yep. And we traded away for like a 3 and a 6 or something like that.
Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid are two of the best offensive minds in the game, and they can take a player, much like Belichick could do with his defense, and get the best out of whatever that is. That they are on offense what Belichick was to defense. So in terms of getting guys to do what they do well and help the team. So I'm not surprised that he went to KC and they made him a serviceable weapon because that's what they do. They did it all year. Look at those running backs. No one knew the names of those fucking running backs before the year started. Edwards-Helaire and McKinnon.
Well, Edwards-Helaire was the only one everybody knew.
Yeah,
and he didn't even get
Purdo, Pete, Pacheco, him who ran
Pacheco,
him. Whatever the name. Yeah, I still don't know his fucking name. The bastard won the Super Bowl. I still can't tell you his fucking name, and he ran all over for
Isaiah Pacheco.
Pacheco. Okay, yeah. No one knew who these people were in September.
Dude, he was on my radar. I scooped him on fantasy. Knew all about him. I'm kidding.
I know you are, because your face, you can't even keep a straight face while you're saying.
You know I'm kidding. I'm not keeping up with shit like that.
So, my thing is...
But I did pick him up on fantasy like week 8.
No, and it was a good pickup. I mean,
then I dropped him, and somebody else... Because he had one bad game.
Somebody else rode his coattails to the finish line.
I think you picked him up.
Yes, I did. No, I picked it. No, I had the other guy, McKinnon. McKinnon was nasty.
Yeah, McKinnon went from nothing to like catching 4 scores a game.
McKinnon was the reason I made my run. But I saw him, and I was like, I needed an XO.
Okay, hang on a second. One thing we can't do is talk about our fantasy teams.
Okay, we can't.
That is the worst content. It's the word. Would you agree with me?
I do.
Hearing people talk about their fantasy,
like they're an actual GM,
right?
That had to move the money around.
That's some of the worst.
Negotiate with the agents. Like that's how. You ever listen to people talk about fantasy? You think they're fucking like they're fucking Steinbrenner. You think they're fucking. It's like
Let me tell you about this. Okay.
I picked him up on Wednesday because on Tuesday's injury report, the guy was listed as questionable. So I got on the phone with the agent and said, look, give me a ballpark here. What are we talking? And then the agent told me, he's like, look, I think he's going to make us. You might want to pick up, what's his name?
Nobody says this.
No,
that's not what I'm talking about.
No, but that's the way they act. They don't actually say that, but that's the way they act, and you know I'm right about that.
But I'm just talking about, like, somebody doesn't have to act like that. If they even mention anything about their fantasy football that you're not involved in. Now, if you're in a league,
that's different. That's allowable. That's fair.
Well, no, you're going to talk about games.
Sure.
Did you see what happened with me and Brian or whatever? Yeah. Okay, but if I'm not in a league with you and you tell me about that fantasy team at all, you fucked up. I'm sorry. You fucked up.
Look at you. Talking about a team I know nothing about. Okay,
you scumbag! How dare you bring that idea before me?
Did I drop my money in that kitty? No, I did not, sir. I got no hot dog in that race. No.
I got no hot dog in that race.
No dog.
No dog.
Like, dog races, dog track.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
Anyway. No, it's just, I told you about
back to real football.
No, I told you about that story when I screamed at the guy at my sister's house in Philly.
You did, yes, I remember. Yes,
right. Yes. I was trying to put Maddie to bed, and this guy was next door at a party.
Oh my God!
And I was at my sister's house, and all we could hear was, "Oh man, I fucking drafted Tom Brady." Blah 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 blah.
Was it Brady?
He said Tom Brady.
Uh-oh.
And like after a while, I just screamed out the window, "Nobody gives a fuck about your fantasy team," and the whole party got silent. And I felt like such an asshole. Oh my God.
Like the heavens opened up and we all nobody gives a fuck about your fantasy team.
Moses came down with a flaming torch.
Sit down and shut up, jabroni.
Shut the fuck
Stay in your lane and shut your hole.
And they all looked up at me like I was just the biggest piece of shit in the world. They were all like,
like that.
You didn't have to curse, man.
They looked at you like they smelled a bad fart.
That's what somebody did. They went, they were like, you didn't have to curse, man. And I was like, like he wasn't fucking cursing about his fucking fantasy team.
You don't know any of these people.
You didn't have to. You couldn't.
They don't know about you.
But the thing is, all I had to say was like, hey, y'all, could you keep it down? Instead, I allowed it to annoy me for long enough to where I blew up.
You threw a haymaker. You threw a verbal haymaker.
Yeah, and it was unnecessary.
It was very uncalled for.
And now,
you really were.
But I think because of that now, if I ever hear someone talking about their fantasy football team,
I am not in the league.
I think it brings me back to that moment.
So it's like PSTD. PTSD, that too.
PSTD. It's like PSTD.
Or PT, whatever. Both of them.
It's post-stress traumatic
disorder. Or post-dyslexic.
Yes, that's what it is.
Anyway, so the Giants have an interesting situation.
Man, how did we get there?
I don't know.
How did we get there?
The power of Yoda. Whew. Never underestimate the power of Yoda and Joe.
That was a circle of love right there.
That really was.
But circle of life.
If I'm the Giants, and Teddy Bruschi said this today, and I think he's right. The quarterback comes first. You gotta, because you're not gonna franchise tag both of them. The goal is to sign one, and if you can't sign it, you franchise tag the other. Because Barkley's hit is only is $10 million, so which is obviously manageable. But you want to get Danny Jones locked up. And look at from what Jeff Darlington said this morning. Look at him switching lawyers doesn't mean that they're just going to start from there. They haven't. Saquon Barkley and them are apparently there's a gap. They're apart. They're far apart. With Danny Dimes, they're nowhere near that yet. So it doesn't mean that he's going to break the bank. But $35 million a year. To your point, Tom.
I just think
the thing is, though, that's the market.
I know, but the market's stupid.
But the thing is, he had a good year and he had no number one. What if they go out and draft that dude?
If that's the market, then they need to raise
the
salary cap.
It's going
double. They need to double.
It's going up the next 2 years.
If that's the market, it needs to freaking double.
It's going up this year and next year.
It's like basic. So the league is like, hey, if you want to have a quarterback, you can't have shit else. Well, change the shit. It's stupid.
Look, the thing is, that someone's going to pay him that money.
Let them spend more money.
Well, if the Giants don't get him, then what do?
What?
If he leaves, what do?
No, I'm saying I wish they could sign him.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what if you have no choice?
I wish there was
either you
more
pay the
room.
man,
yeah,
or you lose him.
Yeah.
So what's the alternative here?
Oh, you're taking a major risk.
You can't lose him. The idea is to freaking build around him. Everybody has been talking about this. What if this guy ever gets a number one? What could he be then? Could he be Jalen Hurts? Because Jalen Hurts before number one looked a lot similar to Danny Dimes before he got a number one.
Would you take Danny Dimes over Derek Carr right now?
That's a good question.
At $35 million for 5 years?
Well, he's younger though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing in his favor.
Yeah, this will be his 5th year.
He's younger, and he's had 2 good years out of 5, but he's
been healthy.
He's been healthy, but the thing is, if you get him a number one, a real number one, then what does he look like then? Look at what happened to Tua. Look what happened to look what happened to Burrow the second year when Jamar Chase showed up. Look at what happened to Josh Allen when he got Diggs. Well, you can go on and on and on about this. Mm-hmm. The evidence on this one is from coast to coast. It's there. So I mean, you got to have and a QB without a number. And we were saying this last year. I kept saying it. You can't judge a QB in this league until they get a number one. And this kid without a one got that team to the second round of the playoffs.
But the thing is, there's talent deficiencies across the roster.
I'm not saying there aren't.
And that's my only thing.
But But the thing is, they were a playoff team, and those issues were there then too.
Yeah.
But
it was because of Saquon and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, but the quickest way to close that gap is to get a stud on the outside. It just is.
Yeah.
Because now you got 3 studs to deal with instead of 2, and one of them can take you downtown on one play if he wants.
There's no guarantee you get a receiver at 25 and he comes in and he's A.J. Brown.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is the one thing that the draft is always deep with is receivers. You should have seen these guys. They were actually,
Did you know how many receivers go bust in a draft?
Yes, Tom, I do.
So it's not like they just, okay, well.
I also saw receivers that were in the second round because A.J. Brown was a second-round pick. And so was DK Metcalf. They weren't even first rounders.
So the Giants could miss on somebody in the first round.
Look, I got to let's see what this GM does. He's made good moves so far.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does. I have a hunch he won't miss, given what I'm seeing out of him. Given where that team, look, they're headed in the right direction. Yeah. And they're building from within. You go get a number one. You got to lock up this. You know what? The thing is this. Pay him the $35 million and call it a day. And I'll tell you why. Because the alternative is you don't know. Exactly. It is so hard to get a quarterback in this league, and that's why the New York Jets are sitting here twisting in the wind because they don't know what to do. Because they know what happens if they get this one wrong. It sets them back another decade. Because if you get the wrong QB, boys and girls, you get set back a decade. Literally a decade. So I'm just telling you. So they've got this guy in the building. Don't let him leave the building. Pay him whatever he wants. Fucking seriously, put the franchise tag on Saquon, see if he's in there, and then go get the number one receiver.
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer to me.
It's crazy that the franchise tag for a running back is only $10 million.
That's a passing league now.
Sin.
It's a passing league now.
Yeah, but guys like Saquon, how many carries they get? How many receptions
because their shelf life is short. Because of that. That's why.
I know. But I'm saying if you're going to franchise a guy like that whose career could end like that,
running backs,
that franchise tag should be
running backs. I said this is why I hate I'm not going to go there again. But I'm saying running backs are most susceptible to injuries because they touch the ball most of the time. Even because now they're pass catching because they're they're dual threats. So even if they're not getting handed the ball or they're blocking to blitz pickup, so they're getting.
Saquon was one of their leading receivers last year.
Yes, he was.
He might have been the leading receiver.
He's a good receiver. I'm telling you, go get the Giants. Pay this guy.
That's what I'm saying. $10 million for that? That's a joke.
It's a bargain. For the Giants.
But Danny Dimes getting 35.
Because that's the market.
I know. It's just crazy.
Deshaun Watson is not worth anywhere near $230 million. Whatever his name is.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Whatever. Deshaun.
No, Danny Dimes hired his agents.
I know.
Like that, what do you call
Cleveland,
it?
I'll tell you what, Cleveland screwed this up so bad. Because they paid that clown.
Why did they do that?
Because they're stupid. And by the way, Cleveland, you're never winning a Super Bowl. Never. Not gonna happen.
What'd they pay him? $256?
$230 million guaranteed. He got all of it, Tom. He got every last dead president. And I'm telling you, it was the dumbest move the Cleveland Browns ever made. They are not going to. They are behind Cincy. They are behind Baltimore if he stays, and they're going to be behind Pittsburgh so fast because Pittsburgh just missed the playoffs this year, and they were 9-8 for Christ's sake. All right, 8-9.
Pickett looks all right.
Yeah, he looks all right. He's going to get better in year 2, and Mike Tomlin we know can coach. So they're looking. Since the Cleveland is looking at the cellar. With him. With him. And they gave up everything to get him. Okay.
What kind of picks did they send down there?
They got a haul for him. Houston got a haul for him. They really did. And the money, $230.
I'd be curious to see.
This guy is not Tom Brady. This guy is not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Burrow. He's not any of these guys. $230? For what the hell has he ever done to earn $230 million? I'll wait. Seriously, that's just ridiculous. I'll never get a justifiable.
But that's what I'm saying. If that's the market, you need to increase the salary cap.
They are.
Because
going up.
Other guys on the team deserve big money,
the salary
too.
cap is going up. I just told you this.
And I'm saying it needs to go up really high.
Well, it's going up higher. I don't know how it's going, but it's
because
going
my
high.
God, it's like you got to decide between. Oh no, I'm not going to pay a good player.
The thing about the QB position is it's so hard to find a QB.
No, I know.
Because while there are 32 starters in this league, there aren't 32 good quarterbacks in this league. No. There aren't 20 good quarterbacks in this league. I'd argue there might be 15. 14, 15, somewhere in there. I think half the league, really. That means it's a coin flip. You're either on the in or you're on the out. Yeah. So that's why the Giants need to just pay this guy and focus on the rest of your team.
Pay that man his money.
Give that man his money. Yeah, the Rounders.
Pay that man.
No, he beat me. Fair and square. He beat me.
Fucking
pay him.
Pay
that man his money. And fucking, what was it? What did they call him? Grandma? What was his name?
Yeah, Grandmama.
Yeah, little fat dude.
It's just Grandma.
Grandma.
Right.
Flips the chair over. Does a little temper tantrum.
When he throws the Oreo at the wall.
Yeah. He throws the Oreos. And he's like, not hungry.
What did he say to him to get him to come back to the table? Remember when Matt Damon was going to leave?
He's like,
once he had all his money back.
You're still 20 in from when I stick it in you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
fuck
you little fucker. And Matt Damon's like, I can light him up all night. Why don't I just do it? Because I know his weakness when he's tipping it now. I know what he does. And he was cleaning him up. And he cleaned him up.
Yeah, but after he went back in, the tables turned. Remember? And he had to come back.
Briefly.
He was like about to lose his shit.
Briefly. It was brief.
And then he dropped the bomb on him.
He dropped the bomb. He flopped the nut straight.
Is that really what he got?
He said, I flopped the nut straight. Boom, like that. Motherfucker. You done all this shit. Fucking guy blew a gasket in his head. Fucking
remember when he was telling about
No more. Hey, check. He tripped me. He was trying to say trick me. He's so fucked up. He's so mad. He tripped me.
Remember when he told the story about Johnny Chan?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, John. Didn't he say something like that?
He said, I don't remember, John.
Did you have it?
He's like, I don't know, man.
He's like, no shit. You bluffed Johnny Chan.
I know I said it. I could sit with a world champion.
That's so fucking... It's hilarious, man. That's a real problem, dude.
Oh god, that's a very bad problem.
Bad problem.
Yeah, that's not the thing you want to think you're good at. Okay, that's not the thing you want to think you're good at. You'll end up in a ditch. Okay,
You talk about a roller coaster.
You'll be
of a
sleeping
life.
with the fishes. Okay,
Well,
please.
unless you're doing it legally, then you'll just be.
You know
broke
the
as
story about the
fuck.
KC fan they call a wolf, right? Did you hear about him? Did America hear this? This story was posted by ESPN. You didn't know about this, dude?
I don't know.
Super Kansas City fan known as the Wolf. He wears a wolf costume to every game. Been following the Chiefs around for years. Was arrested 3 days before the Super Bowl in Oklahoma for armed robbery. Put a gun to the teller's head. Ran off with $150,000. They caught him about a couple towns over. And turns out he was the fan that was always had his own Instagram. He had like 40,000 followers, Chiefs fans, with worshiping this guy. People were taking pictures with the kids with him at Chiefs games and everything. And he was a big-time gambler. Big-time gambler. And they found uncashed checks for like $14,000 in his car and things like that. Crazy shit. But he was homeless, living in his car, I think with his mother. Crazy stuff. And he was always putting big bets that he hit on and went on his Instagram page. All this shit's really messed up. And it turns out he was so in debt or in trouble on a debt he owed, he went and robbed a bank. And then everybody found out that this was like a split personality. Nobody knew about him.
So what does this have to do with anything?
Gambling. This is one thing. This is one thing you don't want to think you're good at, because if you're not, your life will be in the shitter, and you might be there with it.
So he was gambling like
big
off
bets.
the books.
No, he was on FanDuel.
Okay.
He was big money. He was betting.
And now he's in the shit.
Now he's in the clink. And
how does it happen through FanDuel?
That was one. He was on a number of sports betting sites. That was one.
But
of them.
what is he floating money like?
Well, apparently he would hit on some of these bets. He had uncashed checks for thousands of dollars in his car. It wasn't like he didn't have money, but this was a big bet that he missed on. I guess it was the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. And
We need to verify these.
it's on ESPN. The story. That's him right there.
Yes,
yeah.
Mystery
That's
of
him.
Kansas City Chiefs superfan charged with robbery,
Yeah.
February 17th.
Yeah, I read this
Elizabeth
article.
Merrill and David Purdom. Two people wrote this.
Yes. Don't read it right now off the bottom line. I just gave you
It's a whole friggin' story.
I know. I gave you the Cliff Notes. I read it like 2-3 days ago.
It's ridiculous.
And the bottom line is, my point is, don't get on get gambling. Don't do it. It's one
I
thing.
don't know, John.
It's yeah.
I don't remember, John.
I don't remember, John. Don't get into gambling, because if not, you could end up with grandma on your ass or Teddy KGB. You don't want that kind of life running.
Oh, that's right.
You got to run.
Grandma was like the Guido.
Yeah.
Right. He was the enforcer. He was a little guy.
Yeah.
And
Ed Norton got in it with him
Teddy
and
KGB
Teddy KGB. He's
that
like,
was give that man his
yeah.
money.
And then Matt Damon was to Ed Norton, like, "Yo, you really fucked us in the ass now, didn't you?" Like the guy's like, "Yeah, it's go time. Let's get in the car and drive." That's what he was telling him. He's like, "No, I'm not living like that. You tell Grandma to stake me." And he's like, "Yeah." And that I'm saying, don't. That's the thing. You don't. And then you got a guy here who's in jail in the clink, real life shit like this. I'm just saying. Don't get into gambling. Don't do it. Fantasy football is one thing. Playing a $3 card, that's one thing. Don't be getting on FanDuel betting thousands of dollars you don't have. Okay?
But how can you do that through FanDuel? Like, you have to have an account, put money on there, right?
I'm sure he had some money, but he lost big. And when he did, he resorted to this.
Okay.
So anyway, the bottom line is the Jets. I mean the Giants should not be trying to have a rip off a bank here.
There also is part of me that's like, man, it would be kind of crazy to see that non-exclusive franchise tag in action.
Yeah, but they can't touch you.
What?
They can't touch you for a year. But you got to prove it. Prove it to me. It's a prove it to me is what it is.
No, but somebody could match it. Somebody could basically
That's the non-exclusive.
That's what I just said, non-exclusive.
Yeah, and if they take it, you get the 2 first-round draft picks.
Well, yeah, so somebody could negotiate with him, offer him a 5-year deal. Yeah. And if we're like, we can't match it or don't want to match it, 2 first-round picks, that's kind of intriguing. But what picks are you going to get?
If you're the Baltimore Ravens and you put him on that, you deserve whatever you
I'm talking about the Giants.
Both of them. Both of them should not do that. You either sign him or you put him on the...
But I think Lamar is more of a slam dunk than Danny Dimes. he's proven it for more years than Jones.
They're both young. He's 26. Danny's 25. 1 year younger than him, I think. Right. So no,
I think Danny's going to be good, but Lamar has.
Danny's already good. The question is, can he be great? He was good last year. Can he be great?
Right, but
and I think he's a number one receiver away from being great. Because he completed 67% of his passes to a bunch of nobodies.
He did a good job.
He did a good job in the passing game. He took care of the football, which was you were up his ass justifiably so, and he did it. He answered the bell. And by the way, he did it while rushing for 700-something yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he had more chances to fucking lose the ball, and he took care of it. He was a threat.
He only had 8 turnovers.
All year.
Yeah.
You can't get, absolutely all day. Give that kid a number one. Let's pay him his $35 million because he's 25. What the fuck? You kidding me? He's 3 years from his prime. Technically, your prime is 28 to 33 as an athlete. So pay him his money. Go build around him.
But see, he's 3 years from his prime. That's why I almost think like 3 years, $33 million a year.
He's not going to agree to that.
But then he earns another big contract right when he hits his prime.
I'll tell you why they want to lock him up for longer than that. Because you don't know what you're going to need in 5 years. And you want to make sure you have to worry about him. You want him locked up. Mm-hmm. You want this to be the biggest contract he makes. Now, if he's 30 years old and they go to 2 Super Bowls and whatever, then we can talk about giving him a bigger one, because then he's really earned it if he wins a couple of championships. No. But if he wins one, he's probably worth it. So, I mean, the bottom line is
without a doubt, if he wins a Super Bowl, he's worth it.
But I'm telling you, he got to the second round and didn't have a discernible weapon in the passing game. And everybody that was there did.
He had a great running game.
But this still also helps Saquon Barkley, because now you can't put 8 in the box anymore. This helps him too. So go build your receiving core. You don't go get one guy. You get 3 or 4 guys. You get a tight end, unless you like the guy that's in there now, and he looks pretty good. He might be decent.
Bellinger.
Yeah, but good, draft another tight end too. Fuck it. Build the talent pool. Build the talent pool.
You need interior O linemen. You need a number 1. You need linebacker, big time.
You can get all this in the draft. You can.
Of course you can, but it's easy to say, okay, we're going to fill holes.
It's hard to actually execute to your scouting department, looking at how your team runs their offense and defense, and going finding players that match that. Their skill set fits that.
Dude, of course. I'm just saying it's an inexact science, and you miss all the time in the draft.
Of course you do. But if there's 10 picks in a draft, you always got to hit on 3 of them. 3 out of 10. That's it. That's like 300 in baseball. Because it is hard to do. You're right. You do miss on a lot. And if they hit on 4 or 5 out of 10, even better. But 3 out of 10 that's a good draft. If you think about it, that's a good draft. You get 10 picks.
I think they have 11.
Sometimes they do, but I think some teams have just 7. Some teams have less because they traded picks away, and when you have.
No, I'm saying I think the Giants have 11 this year.
If they have 11, then they should hit on 4 of 11. That's a fair 4 out of 11. And if it's more than that, then wow.
4 good players would certainly help that damn team.
4 good players, absolutely. 2 on defense, 2 on offense would certainly help that team. Okay, so and I think it's doable. The talent is there in terms of the depth at those positions. Because I'll tell you what, speed linebackers are at a premium too, because everybody plays a base nickel now because it's a passing league. You got to have linebackers.
Then why have the Giants always struggled to draft them? I mean, and of course, I'm not talking about a long time ago. I'm talking about more recent.
I think it goes back to honestly when you could play a 4-3 or a 5, still or a 3-4 like Belichick would play, and there's just not enough of them. There's just not enough of them now. They got to be smaller and quicker, or if they become defensive ends, like Von Miller and such, and Micah Parsons, guys that are like tweeners. Like, oh, you know what? He's not, but he's quick. He's quick enough to get past by any lineman in the league.
Right.
But he's not necessarily quick enough to cover a running back out of the backfield. So he's a tweener. But that's where you put him, a speed edge rushing pass, and you need those too. They get big money. Those guys, you need them. So I mean, look,
this is game changes.
Yeah. And if Von Miller did not get injured, I'll tell you right now, Buffalo might have been there because they beat KC and KC in the regular season, and he was the reason why Von Miller. So in any event.
All right, we've beaten Danny.
We've beaten this to death. It's going to be interesting the next few days. We'll keep you posted on that. We're going to come back, take a quick break, find Yoda. Come back, segment 2. We're going to talk NBA and some baseball. Grapefruit League starts this weekend, right? This weekend? right?
Maybe.
Maybe, I think it is. We're going to delve into that.
It might not be till next weekend.
Kevin Durant's supposed to be making his debut on Thursday with the Nets. With the Suns. We'll get into that. And
we didn't talk about
Russell Westbrook is going.
Eric Bieniemy, did we?
We did not talk about Eric Bieniemy, but he went to Washington, and it was a good move. As the OC, which is bullshit because he's proven himself 6 ways to Sunday. But I guess you got to get out of KC to. Because, and I know with Watts, people say, well, he had Andy Reid. That's what people are saying. And that's horseshit, by the way. I think.
You know what makes it even bigger horseshit? And I mean, this is.
Andy Reid went to bat for him, by the way.
Well, no, but the thing is, Doug Peterson was the OC under Andy Reid, didn't call plays. He's gotten 2 jobs.
And a ring.
And a ring.
Super Bowl ring.
Right. And who's the other guy? Same thing. Who's the other guy?
He's a head coach now, isn't he?
Yes.
Is he with? No, he's not him.
It wasn't Sirianni, was it? I think it was somebody else.
Might have been, maybe. Oh, sorry, maybe.
It wasn't Frank Reich, was it?
No. Who the hell is it? Come on, people, help us. I don't know, but he's out there somewhere. I think he's
he's out there somewhere. Somewhere beyond the rainbow.
Somewhere in that.
Matt Nagy.
Where is he?
I don't know. He's somewhere or was somewhere.
He's out there. He's somewhere out there. I'm telling you. Anyway.
If he was white, he would have a job.
Anyway.
That's what this article says.
Okay.
That's so shitty.
It is shitty. It's 2023.
So fucking shitty.
It's so shitty. We will get back. And also, Tony Mazzasnotti from the Boston Sports Media did a oops this week and got suspended for putting his foot in his mouth. We'll talk about that, too, in segment 2 when we get back. But it's a Tip 'em Back Token Tuesday. You guys grab a nice Frosty Delicious beverage or give a call to Yoda. We'll see you guys on the other side in just a few minutes.
Dude, this is bad. Hold up.
What?
So just like the track record of if you're the offensive coordinator that wins the Super Bowl, if you're white, you basically get a head coaching job. Frank Reich, Eagles offensive coordinator when they beat the Patriots. Next year, Colts head coach.
Frank Reich didn't beat the Patriots. Bill Belichick did.
Okay, but that's besides the point.
It's terrible.
Josh McDaniels.
And proof.
New England Patriots.
Yep.
They win 2017. Boom. Where's he go? Raiders?
He stayed, but he's had multiple offers. He could have gone to the Colts a couple years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, he did, and then he backed out. That was messed up.
He took a more talented team, and he destroyed them.
What a jerk. What a jerk.
That Bill Belichick coaching tree is just getting weaker by the day.
Oh, yeah, those
limbs are just creaking and falling off on their own.
2017, he got the offer after they won.
Okay.
And that's when he backed out.
Look, the bottom line is Eric Bieniemy is getting bent over, and it's bullshit because he's more than qualified. Should have had a head coaching job 4 years ago, as far as I'm concerned. And who knows what's going to happen with Rivera? Maybe he ends up being the head coach in Washington because Rivera may get fired.
Well, that's what our resident Commanders fans
he
said.
may end up being the head coach.
DJ said that.
Yeah.
He said,
and that wouldn't be a bad thing.
He said the new owner is going to fire Rivera, and then they'll just promote Bieniemy.
Yeah, so he may be the head coach by July. He might. So
it's tough if I'm Bieniemy because, man, the culture issue in Washington is like very bad in terms of toxic environment for workers,
he's going to sell
for the team.
He's going to be gone.
But it's still tough to walk into a situation like that because even though you bring new leadership in, it's going to take time to turn that.
Here's the thing. Eric Bieniemy, though, is playing with house money here because that's a dysfunctional organization, number one. Number two, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings on his finger, not 1.
That's true.
So he's going to have a curve here. They're going to give him a curve because, honestly, they don't have a choice. This guy, and Bieniemy will get players, too. He'll get talent.
But if Bieniemy is as good as he says he is, he's going to make that team good.
Yes, he is, and they were damn near
They're not that far
They're not that far off.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is the thing. So the thing is, he's going to have a learning curve. He's going to have. I'm telling you right now, he's going to get players. People are going to want to go play for him. So
He's already got some players on offense.
Yeah, he does. They got receivers.
Yes,
they already do. And the running back Gibson's legit. They got. I'll tell you, the Redskins don't lack for offense.
Who's the receiver they have? Is it Samuel?
It's McLaurin.
Well, McLaren.
The other guy.
But they had another young guy.
Yeah, he's on the other side, and he's good.
I thought it was Samuel.
It might be.
But I might be confusing him with Debo.
We'll look it up.
And then your guy, Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke. Who, the winner. The winner that they can't stand wins.
All right,
6-2.
sorry I had to bring that up.
No.
You were trying to say goodbye.
No, we're coming back.
I was like, hang on, I want to talk about Eric Bieniemy for 10 minutes. You can't turn that off.
He's getting porked. I've been saying, look at Eric Bieniemy deserved a job literally 4 years ago. He deserved a job. Okay, and this is crap. He's gotten it worse than anybody, and for life, I can't figure out why. Because there was an African American head coach got hired. 2 of them actually, I think. Was it 2 of them or 1 of them? In the league, they just hired 2 of them. 2 of them, Houston, Demir Ryan. Who was another one?
Well, they love hiring black guys and then firing them.
Well, he got a 5-year deal.
Well, they did the same shit to the last 2 coaches.
Well, I think hopefully they've learned from that. Because if they fire him after 1 year, they're gonna burn the stadium down.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But you know what? I'm interested in Houston.
I am too.
Because they
got a
hung
boatload
tough. They hung tough
with a lot of teams.
Everybody.
A lot of teams.
And you said they just fleeced Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that was over a year ago.
No, but they still have picks from that.
Well,
they've got multiple. They've got picks over multiple years.
Because if they can land on some hits.
And by the way, they have the coolest helmet in the NFL now.
And what are they? The second pick?
Second pick. Yeah.
They do have the coolest helmet.
They have the coolest helmet. That uniform was badass. Yeah. Anyway, we're back on segment 2. NBA and baseball. We're going to talk about and Tony Mazzasnotti. Where do you hear this one?
Tony Mazzasnotti.
Well, it's Maserati. I call him Mazzasnotti. He's one of the best. He's one of the Boston Sports Talk Radio, the Hub. Him and Michael Felger. They're the #1 show up in Boston. Have been. And he put his foot in his mouth the other day. Where do you hear this one?
Have we compared their ratings to ours? Because maybe they were the #1 show.
Look, they know, as we know, they're on borrowed time.
I mean, coming for ya. Coming for ya.
They're not going to. And news to you, what Tony Mazzasnotti did may have just literally shortened that time. We'll talk about it on the other side. See you guys in a bit.